The Pokemon Company have recently put out a alternative play handbook to the Pokemon TCG. And I don't know if this is the first time they've done it. I don't necessarily think it is. However, it has been some time since there's been this sort of book, and I think it's a really cool way of giving players more ways of playing with these cards. I think one of the interesting challenges with the Pokemon TCG specifically, and I'm quoting this from Alpha Investments, so take that for what you will. Shout out to Alpha Investments. And he works on the inside. He works like at a store. Like he sells cards as a seller. And he'd mentioned the stat that based on research, only about 8% of people who buy Pokemon cards actually play the game. And I think part of it is the Pokemon franchise is massive, and people have an affinity towards the franchise from other video games, Pokemon Go, the anime, and so on and so forth. And so for a lot of people, Pokemon cards are just like, they're merchandise. I look at this card in the same way that I look at these plushies in the back, right? It's just another way of showing my fandom. But there are, at its core, this is a trading card. It is a game meant to be played, and maybe the way that I'm just changing cameras like crazy here, maybe the way that we normally play the game isn't necessarily the right way for everyone to play. So I think it's very cool for the Pokemon Company to introduce or formalize, here are some other things you can do with these cards. And we're not going to go into all of them, but there's a lot of different ways of playing here. For example, here's a Pokecatch, which is sort of a set collection game where you're using your energy cards to catch Pokemon rather than fight with Pokemon. This is something that can be played with 2 players, and based on my skimming of the rules, if you have little kids that like Pokemon cards, or you have lots of bulk cards that you would otherwise just get rid of, this is a great way for them to get introduced into the game and learn about general concepts and counting and color matching. And I haven't played this yet, but I look forward to trying this out someday. And so that's one way to play. They have some rules around like opening booster packs, right? I think for most people, it's just, and Steph and I have made this a game too. I almost always get at least 2 booster packs so Steph and I can open these together. We flip the cards, you take 4 from the top, flip it, see who's got the better rare. But if you're looking for more ways to play, they do have some rules here. So for example, they have like variation on war where you roll a dice to see what you're battling for, and then you flip 1 card at a time to see who's got the highest HP, the tallest height, the highest retreat cost. And it's just different ways of making the gamification of the pack opening experience. So even if you're not fully playing the game, it's just a different way to open up packs and have fun with the cards in that way. They have multi-experience grow and go. I haven't looked too much into this, but the idea of building your deck over time, like as you're playing it, sounds pretty cool. They do have in here as well, I think one of the big ones, team formats. Being able to play 2v2 sounds amazing. I would love to see this actually supported in PTCGO or live and make this. I think the idea of teams is so cool, and it's something that happens in the video games as well, where there's 2v2. I would love for Meg and I to dominate in this format someday if there is a formalized way of playing 2v2 rather than the book. But the book is a good start. There's even some cooperative modes that have been put into here, like raid format, which allows for 1 to 5 players all working together to take down 1 mega Pokemon. That's amazing. And just having these different ways of playing and giving you different ways of enjoying and interacting with these cards, it's such a smart move. And last but not least, shout outs to Tricky Jim, Andrew Mahone, who is like one of the GOAT content creators in the Pokemon TCG space. I've learned so much from him and his videos. And his format that he started, Gym Leader Challenge, is now an officially sanctioned alternative format, recognized and promoted by the Pokemon company themselves. And this is a mode that it's a singleton format. You only get one of each card other than energy. There's no rule box Pokemon, no ace specs, and you have to play all of one type. So if you have to build, like, here's a water deck, here's a fire deck. And I haven't had the chance to play GLC just yet, but it's something that I'm looking forward to. And definitely, if you are fatigued by standard format and Vs and VMAXs and you just want to play with single prize cards, which is kind of the theme of today's stream, this is a great way to do it. And so, yeah, I would recommend you check out the alternative ways, this alternative rule, what's it called? Alternative play handbook from the Pokemon company. And if you've got an opportunity or friends to try these out with, definitely give them a go.